All right, so the first thing is we did our poll today, so I will turn on the one we just did, which is this one, so you can practice it, right, if you didn't do so well today. I'm going to go to my student view because the next thing that I want to talk about is midterm grades. So you probably saw that I posted midterm grades. I have to do this. And the great thing about Canvas is it calculates it for you. And then the other not so great thing about Canvas is if you haven't done the assignments, I have to go in and put zeros. So I just expected you to have Module 1 stuff done by midterm, so I put in zeros for Module 1. Note that if you go in and do these assignments, even now, those zeros will get changed, and then therefore your grade, right, your total that we'll look at in a moment, changes automatically. So then sometimes, you know, those of you that have not so great midterm grades, which isn't this class, thankfully, all y'all look pretty good from what I remember, but of course I have 6 classes, so it's all a blur now. You'll want me to change that midterm grade. I can't after a certain time today, and I won't at this point, right? Once I finish doing midterm grading, I don't do it again, right? It's a checkpoint, it's a Delgado internal thing. It doesn't go on your transcript. So if I made a mistake even, right, I'm not going to fix it in Lola. Does that make sense to y'all? I'll fix it in Canvas to make you feel better, right? Because I do it in both places, but I'm not going to change it in Lola. Does that make sense to y'all? Make sure that you can log on to Lola. Make sure you can see that grade. I'm not sure if it's visible to you guys yet. Anyone looked at their midterm grades yet? That's not Lola, that's Canvas. And Lola, which is what you use to register for classes. Has anybody looked at midterm grades yet? Because I'm not sure if they publish them to you guys as we do it or after the deadline, which is today at 1 o'clock. It's probably after. Okay. Which is good. Which is good that I put it ahead of time in Canvas for you, right? So let's look at, this is my student view, so I did some fake grades in here. And I'll notice you right here, I guess the default is to put assignments by date. I like to do them by group because that's the way I look at things. So notice you can change that, right? What's the other option? By module even now, in title. Module would probably be even more helpful, right? Let's do that. I don't even remember that being an option before. Okay, so you'll notice that I did grade. I moved it, so of course there. Okay, I put midterm grade right up there at the top, which I didn't put it in. See, it's out of 0, but there's a letter grade here, right? It's not. You don't get any points for a midterm grade, right? Does that make sense for y'all? And it was a letter grade here. I guess I probably should have gave myself one, but I didn't. So introduction was a while ago, right? It was 10 out of 10. But remember this, I grade using rubrics. And if you have little symbols right here, I might have posted a comment, which I did today to show you. And then you can get to the assignment itself. I'm going to right click on it. And then open in another tab. The assignment itself you can see. So for me, I didn't actually do this, so there's nothing to see. But the next one, there is. But I just want to show you these little things that you can click on. All right, so then you see I did all my pollings, right? So I got all my points, right? But then at some point I wigged out and oh my god, I forgot about Wiley's, right? So notice I've got 2 zeros here. Okay, but if I go back and do it, it will change. And look, you can right now, right, I can say, well, if I go back and do this, what effect will this have on my grade, right? Because before that, y'all, when I had zeros there, I'm going to put it back. I did not have a C. I had a D. So let me revert this back to how it was. See, I had a D, right? But see how easily we can affect our grades by doing our work. 1, right? So if you go in and do that, I didn't put anything for module, but you notice, like, say I put myself as a 60 on the exam. So the other thing that students talk about is attendance. So notice I have a separate column for attendance adjustment, because remember in my syllabus and at the beginning of the semester I said I'll give you 2 unexcused absences. I do that at the very end. I quite honestly have no idea how Canvas does this attendance thing, but I know how to adjust it in the end. So know that, right, the day of the midterm, I will give you points, right, if you miss 2 classes, right? Beyond that, right, just don't miss class, right? Okay, so, and it even gives you a summary, right, of all the assignments, because I didn't do those 2 Wileys, right, your tests, and your tests, as you know, are the majority of your grade, because look, right, it's right here, it's weighted. Assignments are 25, tests are 50, and that god-awful final exam, right, is comprehensive. No, y'all, it isn't god-awful because it's basically review, right? Because if you studied for the first 2 tests, you just have to prove to me that you didn't memorize and dump it. So already I posted the objectives list for you so that these are the only objectives on the final exam, right? So you can download this list for exam 1, 2, and 3. And when you go back over, but remember, let me go back to grades. For test 1, when you click on it, you have to be in Lockdown Browser to see it. It might let me. Where's test 1? It's down at the bottom, is it? Okay, there it is. Okay. See, it says requires Lockdown Browser. So it's not going to let me go to it. Because you got to have that browser. But we are working on the next discussion board, which I did part of it to show you again how grading works. So, oh, this is the little rubric thing. So notice I only got 2 points. Why? Because I only put what product I use and what I use to clean with. I didn't answer any of the other questions. And I lost a point right here, which you'll notice in the comments, which are right here. You didn't include the student name in your reply. So let's look at my submission. I click on what I submitted. So there it is, right? So look, I only put Lysol on what I use it to clean with, right? And then I replied to someone else, but I didn't write their name, right? Like I asked you guys to. Like it says in the rubric to do so, right? It says include name of person you're replying to. Okay? So remember though, right, you can go back and change these things if you need to fix them. You can go back to the discussion board, right, and fix these things. I guess I don't know how to unshow this. Once it's showing it to you, it won't show it to you again. Okay. Anyone? Oh, there's the X. Thank you. I wasn't seeing it. And then, of course, you know, any comments I writ is right here. And you can write comments back to me, too, right? So notice as a student, you can comment back about something. Like, I fixed it. Please regrade it. Does that make sense? All right, so you should be working on that discussion board. That deadline is coming up, right? It is, yeah, the 19th. Which also brings me to another calendar important thing, right? Lucky us, right? Thursday we have class, and you can sing me happy birthday. And then Saturday, if you happen to have Saturday classes, I'm sorry. You don't this weekend, yay, because it's fall break, right? So the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, we're off for fall break. We come back the 17th. And then, of course, we have class for this class on the 18th. But no classes, right? Monday and Tuesday next week for fall holiday. Just FYI. Okay. Discussion board. Okay, viruses assignment. So if you haven't done this assignment yet, that's fine. I really wanted you to read this article beforehand, but I'm really not going to get into I'm going to define viruses, but we're going to discuss it next time. So some people get confused by this assignment. So first of all, you're going to an outside link, So I usually right-click and open it on another page, another tab, right? So look, y'all, it's a short article. You can do it. And I will read it again before class so we can have a nice active discussion about it next class. But then for here, you have to hit Submit Assignment for the text entry to pop up. And after reading this article, I want you to comment whether you think viruses are alive or not. So you can't just say, I think they're alive. You have to say, I think they're alive because based on this article, they can do da-da-da-da, right? So I know you read the article, right? And you can back up what you're saying. Or you can say, I believe they're not, right? Is there a right or wrong answer? No, it's a comment, it's an opinion, right? How do you lose points? By not explaining yourself and not referencing the article. Make sense? Okay, so then once you type it in, and I suggest sometimes when you have assignments like this, maybe type it in Word offline, and then paste and copy it into here. And then you have to hit Submit again. So here, I'll pretend, right? Hit Submit, right? And you'll see that I could resubmit it, but it shows that I submitted it. And then when you go to your grades, until I grade it, because this is obviously something I have to grade, it shows that you submitted it, right? And you could click on it and it'll go back to what you submitted. But you can redo it if you need to. Please have that done by Thursday, right? Because we're going to talk about that article, right? I wanted you to read it before we really even talked about viruses. But if you haven't yet, you can still do it. Okay. That's the end of my list on grades and assignments, and yeah. Any questions? Okay. All right, so